How's it guys, Munash here, and today we have some rank 3 Mr. Negative gameplay. A video that I've been looking forward to making because I just really like this champ. Of all the champs released this year so far, Mr. Negative is the one who has left the biggest impression on me so far. And I know Hercules just got released and is currently the best champion of 2021, and Shang-Chi is also pretty amazing, has to be second best in my opinion at least. But I don't enjoy using those champs anywhere near as much as I enjoy using Mr. Negative. And he's also a pretty good champ, I must say. Might not be the best, but I can see him becoming one of the most sought out science champs. So I'm really thrilled to have him at rank 3, and I'm gonna go for more featured crystals to try and dupe him. Even though he doesn't really need the SIG, it is still pretty nice, and I spoke about this more in depth in the previous Mr. Negative video. So for today's showcase, I just have one Alliance War fight, which is going to be against this Power Snack Man thing, a champion, and a node combination that Mr. Negative works really well for. In fact, he's kind of become the de facto counter for this node. Like, I've used him, I think, in 3 or 4 wars in a row against the Power Snack node. And they often place mystics on this node such as Doom, Man-Thing or Mojo, since they also punish you when they nullify your buffs. But of course Mr. Negative is immune to Nullify, Face Seal and Stagger, so he essentially just nullifies their ability to nullify. So I just felt like showing this fight because this was the very first fight I used the rank 3 for, and it was pretty clean, I must say, like near flawless. I had a good amount of Dark Energy and a Fury buff before the special 2. So what I did was, after converting my initial set of light energy, I already had about 2 bars of power. So I started to parry a lot to build more light energy. I do this until I have at least 10, then I parry heavy for a fury buff to increase the damage a bit more, then the heavy intercept into special 2. So those degens did a very good amount of damage. He went down to about 22%. So now I just need to throw one more special 2 with just 10 or more dark energy to take him out. So Man-Thing goes down in about 75 seconds, 56 hits, and I lost 8% health despite Mr. Negative having the block proficiency of a 5-year-old. So I did plan on doing one more fight with Mr. Negative in this war, but it kind of got sniped because I just wasn't active at the time. But I was gonna try him out against an Ebony Maw mini-boss despite the true focus node, which counters evade and miss. So my strategy for that fight was gonna be to deliberately get hit by Ebony Maw special 1, because another way to convert light to dark is by getting knocked down. So I can just dash in on that very last hit of the special 1, which doesn't do much damage, so get knocked down, convert light into dark, then throw that juicy special 2. Now obviously this won't work the same against every champ, kind of depends how hard they hit, although if you use an invulnerability boost then it's pretty safe, as long as you're not taking crazy damage over time after getting knocked down. You can also use the special 1 to convert light into dark, but then the window to get to 2 bars before the dark energy expires can be pretty tight, especially if you can't play very aggressively. Alright, so now we're gonna jump into Act 6 Chapter 4 because I want to showcase some of his more niche utility. As some of you may know, one of his biggest weaknesses in terms of stats is his block proficiency. It's actually exactly the same as Cull Obsidian's, but unlike Cull, Mr. Negative doesn't actually need to block, because the heavy evade basically gives you a free opening and it's easier than intercepting. So now we're fighting an Ulcer Bloodstone with Stunning Reflection and plus 90% crit resistance. So obviously I can't parry, or rather I can't parry stun, but I don't need to thanks to Negative's evade mechanic. So all you do is dex, then convert the buff into light energy, then just hold heavy and counter. It's pretty convenient and a lot less stressful than intercepting if you're not very good at that. Now I made one mistake in this fight which will extend the fight time quite a bit, because I forgot that the Nick Fury evade charges also add to your dark energy. So essentially whatever light energy you have will be doubled when converting into dark energy with the Nick Fury charges. That's why I got 10 dark energy when I converted 5 light. So unfortunately my dark energy expired because I couldn't get to 2 bars of power quickly enough without parrying. So that's gonna add an extra minute to the fight, but it's fine. I mean, this is not a damage showcase, it's more of a counter argument to the low block proficiency problem, because as you can see, it's really not a problem as long as you can evade. It might not be the most optimal way to play him in terms of damage per second, but it is pretty efficient in terms of health loss, so you'll see me finish this fight with a full yellow bar. Okay, so now I have 2 bars of power with both light and dark energy, so I just need to dex a few more times before throwing that special 2. Could have had a bit more, but 16 is not bad. Now one somewhat annoying thing about Elsa is she can purify debuffs. So when she has a non-damaging debuff on her, she can purify even damaging debuffs. and she was just purifying my degens one at a time. But fortunately it's a slow process, she can only do one at a time, so she only purified 4 in total. Now one thing you'll often see me do before I hold the heavy attack is, while I won't just dash back and hold it because it can take a bit of time for the opponent to come at you, just depends on the AI really. So what you'll see me do is I often dash forward first, like passively just walk up to the opponent before I hold the heavy attack. Either that or I'll drop a combo that ends with a heavy attack, so medium, light, 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 heavy. And this does 2 things. First of all, it makes the opponent somewhat more likely to attack you because you're leaving yourself vulnerable nearer to them, and you're also giving them a slightly larger window of opportunity to hit you before the heavy attack releases on its own. Because it can be a bit annoying playing Mr. Negative when the AI just decides to be a little bit too passive. It's happened to me twice where the opponent just did not attack me quickly enough and then my heavy attack released on its own. Fortunately, I've not been punished yet when this has happened, but I'm telling you, when it does happen, I'm going full crybaby mode and I'm just gonna complain to Kabam on the forums or whatever, and I'm gonna be relentless. Like, I'll be so annoying that they'll have to do something about it. Cause I certainly will not stand for this. No sir, not me. Yeah, I'm kidding, I probably won't complain. Maybe just ask or see if they can make his heavy attack indefinite like Tigress. That'll be pretty nice. But anyway, I just want to show one more fight on this part because that Elsa matchup was not the best. I mean, class disadvantage, that waste of initial dark energy, the purifying of my degens. So I'm going to fight a Symbiote Supreme now where we have class advantage. And I'm not going to make that many mistakes besides making the biggest mistake against Stunning Reflection. Yeah, I got stunned twice in this fight because, well, I'm not sure if it was the parry bug or my timing was just a little bit off, so I accidentally parried when trying to dex. So this is not going to be the best utility showcase because I did the one thing you're not supposed to do against Stunning Reflection. So I'm just going to call this the damage showcase. This fight was much faster than the Elsa one because I don't think it took more than 90 seconds. But in terms of health loss, I lost a lot of health in this fight. It certainly wasn't pretty, but the ending was pretty cool. I did some pseudo quaking before throwing my special 2, so I was getting a lot of light energy and then I converted them very quickly while he had 2 bars of power and then unleashed that special 2 which just wiped them out. Like, the ending was actually quite beautiful. It was just getting there that was a bit messy, but yeah, check this out. Oh wait, first I gotta eat a heavy attack. I'm not sure why I did that. Well, actually I didn't do anything and that was the problem. I just let myself passively walk over to him and get tentacle slapped in the face. Oh, the disrespect. But anyway, this is the cool part. And he goes down. So that was not a clean fight by any means, but it was pretty quick, and 42 hits, although 8 of them were on me, is not bad. Alright, so now we're gonna move on to Act 7 Chapter 2.5, where we have some really fun intercept nodes to play with. So this part has aggressive, which I quite like because you get better AI cooperation. Then there's combo party, which is pretty nice for crit damage, although if you get hit, you're gonna get wrecked, so don't get hit. Or at least don't have a high combo when you get hit. Then we get the intercept nodes, which are a lot more fascinating. First there's Flow Intercept, which most people know from Alliance War, I'd imagine. And then there's Foresight, everybody's favorite intercept node and many people's favorite node period. So Flow gives a 40% attack increase and Foresight gives a 200% attack increase. So that special 2 is going to do some pretty nice damage because the beautiful thing about Mr. Negative's evade is that he also counterattacks like Ulcer, so that counts as a natural intercept. So essentially he can kind of cheese this part because the damage from the special 2 is just so high that that's all you need for most of these fights. One special 2 and it's over. Those degens are ticking for 16,391 over 10 seconds. So that's 327,820 damage just from degen alone. That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of degen damage. And that's one thing I love about Negative is how satisfying his degen is, because very few champs are actually immune to degen. Most of the ones who can take it are just immune to debuffs in general, or they purify. Okay, let me talk about the special 3 before I forget again. So the first thing it does is inflict a delirium debuff for 20 seconds. That lowers defensive combat power rate by 60%. Then the special 3 will also consume all light and dark energy. essentially converting the light into regen, so he'll heal 490 health per light energy. So if you have 10 light and throw a special 3, you'll heal about 4900 health. Then in terms of dark energy, the special 3 will deal 2669 direct damage for each one consumed. So say you have 19 dark before throwing a special 3, that'll do an extra 50,000 damage. But I don't think I've used the special 3 for anything serious. I think I've just used it once to see what it's like, and it just looks so cool. But that's arguably the most appealing thing about Mr. Negative, just how beautiful and aesthetically pleasing his animations are. So I'm so glad they also made him a very good champ, because we have seen champs with some very nice animations, but when it comes to the gameplay, it's like, why am I using this character? It just feels like a waste of time, you know? So yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. I am thoroughly enjoying this champ, and I'm keen to see what else I can do with them. But yeah, I hope you guys found this interesting, and as always, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.